While Charlie Adelson and his mother, Donna Adelson, are fighting for their very lives in and out of Tallahassee courtrooms, battling the entire appeals process with both of them convicted of murder, the family patriarch, Harvey Adelson, on the other hand, is quietly waging a very different battle in Miami, not over freedom, but over fortune.
Welcome to the global phenomenon, Surviving the Survivor. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning journalist, Joel Waldman.
What's up, STS Nation? Welcome to Surviving the Survivor. This is the show that brings you the very best guests in all of true crime. And every once in a while, we bring you the matriarch of true crime, who I'm going to introduce in a moment. But tonight, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are in the world, the Adelson saga continues to play out. But we're going to take you inside a little bit lesser known courtroom. You've seen Judge Stephen Everett presiding over the courthouse in Tallahassee, Florida. Well, in Miami-Dade County, there is another courtroom where litigation is going on the business end. And while Charlie Adelson sits in prison and Donna sits in the Leon County Jail awaiting her sentencing, she's got a case management hearing coming up the following week, I believe, October 14th. That, by the way, is the same date that decisions should be made in the Ellen Greenberg case. And if you haven't seen that doc on Hulu, please check it out. But Donna Adelson and Charlie Adelson are running out of room in terms of the appellate process. Donna hasn't even gotten started in earnest. But she's already faced a very stiff arm from Judge Stephen Everett. In Miami, meanwhile, Harvey is acting on Charlie's behalf in a bitter property battle over a 16-unit apartment building. They are landlords, sort of slumlords, to be clear about it. It's a fight not for justice, but for money, and it could expose how deep the Adelsons' financial web really goes. Here to break it down is a businesswoman in her own right, a child Holocaust survivor, a licensed therapist, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, and a mother to yours truly. There she is. Carm, how are you?
I'm great.
Happy New Year to you, Carm.
Happy to you too.
So, Carm, I wouldn't say that you're at the same level of, what's her name? The woman from Shark Tank, Barbara Corcoran. I would not say you're the same level as Barbara Corcoran, but you are always interested and have always been interested in real estate. And I said, you know what? We're not utilizing Carm enough. Let's bring her in on Fridays. We did a show one time called Leave a Comment, and this is going to be sort of a new, fun Friday show. We're going to have a main topic, which, of course, is Harvey Adelson. And then you're going to be able to leave Carm a comment about anything in your life. It doesn't have to be related to anything here, but we're going to talk about Harvey for a little bit. And then you can leave a comment if you have I don't know, you're having a dispute over giving your child use of your car, let's say, you don't know what to do, Carm's got the answer. If you just had a bitter fight with your ex-husband over alimony payments, Carm's got the answer. If you're an aviation mechanic and you can't get your plane to gain proper altitude, Carm has your answer. If you're interested in whales and don't understand why they migrate a certain way in the winter, Carm has your answer. Carm knows everything about everything. That is her great gift. Is this not true, Carm?
100% not true. Sometimes I have to confess, I sound like I know what I'm talking about, when in reality I don't. But can I just go back to the real estate, because this is an interesting tidbit.
Yeah, we're going to break it down, by the way. Yeah.
World history. It was a very interesting thing that happened in Yugoslavia. Inflation was going on when I was growing up, and the only place where everybody trusted was in the home where they were living. Otherwise, the money would just float away through inflation. The inflation wasn't like here. It was like I heard about in Argentina, in places like that, where you literally had to take a suitcase of money to buy a loaf of bread. So the only security you had, and I have to say the truth that from early on, I never became an investor, but I was always curious about real estate.
That's precisely why I brought you here. Plus, you from day one have said that you believe that Harvey is complicit in this, and I've got to tell you, after seeing him face to face at the Metro Deli in Tallahassee during the trial, I would have to agree with you.
Oh well, you cannot go on looks.
You can't. I can.
Because people would say you look like a gangster.
But I'm not a law enforcement. Yeah, it's true. Courtney H here, right into it, Carm. Would you be Facebook friends with Harvey if Harvey was to, as the kids say, if he was to slide into your DMs? Do you know what that means?
DMs?
Yeah. Do you know what DMs are?
I heard of them. Now I'm failing my first test of the
direct mess. If he slid into your direct messages and said, "Carm, be my Facebook friend," Courtney wants to know: would you befriend him on Facebook?
If I would respond to him?
Yes.
I probably would.
And what would you say?
First of all, I was thinking, this time Joel was really unusual. He let me know 6 hours earlier that I'm going to be on the podcast instead of 1 hour earlier. And while I was doing other things, I was thinking of the fact that what's happening here with Harvey, that people are saying, yes, he's involved, no, he's not involved. And as Joel says, I know everything about quantum mechanics and aerospace and everything. And I will even venture into saying something about legal stuff. Even if he wasn't personally involved, Harvey, in plotting this whole thing, the murder of Dan Markel, even if he wasn't involved, he knew it was going to happen. And I think, please correct me, because I may be completely off, but I think he's legally responsible if he knew about it and didn't say anything, because even a therapist who has total confidentiality cannot keep silent if the person is ready to commit murder or ready to kill himself. Even
I'm no attorney, but I guess he could be an accessory. And trust me, he's not out of the legal woods yet. And we're going to get into this real estate deal in just 1 second. But Carm, I'm just curious here. For those who are joining for the first time, you're looking at the matriarch of Surviving the Survivor. This is my mother. People ask why I don't call her mom, because I call her Carm. Great show last night about, we put together a show about convicted killers who have appeared on game shows. There's quite a few. Now Donna Adelson is one of them. You've got Sarah Boone. You've got Lori Vallow-Daybell. You've got this guy, Belief Nick, whose first name I believe is Jeff. He was on the Family Feud. Carm, what is it about game shows and convicted killers? Why do you think they go hand in hand? What is that?
I thought about that. Like there was somewhere this program, Deep Thought, was a comedy hour. So I had a deep thought about that also. I think that they are in a certain way attention seekers who want to be noticed. It has nothing to do with you and me, Joel.
Annalie Finch is always very kind. She's in the chat offering us $5, Carm. That's a coffee for you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. This I will answer here. I think Blackwood Door is STS royalty too. She for sure is. She is the queen of the Republic of Ireland arm of STS. Carm has the best sense of humor, break it down. Joel, love you, Carm. Okay, here we go. So
Black
Carm,
Widow has something over me. You know what?
she has an Irish accent. Yes.
No. You are not afraid of me, but you are afraid of her. I have to find out how can I create an atmosphere where you would be afraid of me.
Carm, make no mistake. I am probably more afraid of you than anyone on earth, or at least my heart rate reacts to you more than anyone for sure. I'd like to actually monitor myself during one of these shows just to show in real time. Like the third screen would be my EKG. There'd be my screen, your screen, and then an EKG, and people could see Rachel D here. I'm looking at our numbers to see if they go down to 0, but they're actually climbing, which is a miracle. Rachel D here. Let us know if you want us to do this on Fridays. We've been doing Phil and Scott, and they're going to keep coming back periodically. The schedules for everybody is too tough, but if you want Carm as a Friday regular, Surviving the Survivor at Gmail, let me know. If you don't want Carm, or if you just want Carm and not me, there's different variations, let us know. Happy New Year, 5786 to you and Carm. It auto-corrected to Karen. She knows what's up. Rachel D comes to us from San Diego, originally from Detroit. Carm, how was your New Year before we go on here?
Lovely. I spent this last holiday at Joel's house, and I was treated as a queen.
Yeah.
Very nice. The kids were just adorable.
Look at this Jury Duty podcast. I tried fasting you're supposed to not eat from the evening before till the following evening. It's actually 25 hours, which I did do. Should have followed doctor's orders since I have medical issues. Think I still accomplished. Carm, if you can't fast and you still atone for your sins, is that enough in your opinion?
Depending who you ask.
I'm asking you.
Definitely, I think it's good enough to atone, because my version of the religion is very permissive.
Carm, I don't want to bring up something that I'll get yelled at for you and this CEOE about, but the minute we turn on, you don't really watch TV or use your phones, which is actually a beautiful thing if you do it like one day a week or one day for a holiday.
Without getting into any politics or any forbidden area. Yeah. That's one of the things that Charlie Kirk promoted.
Yeah.
He said that you need, God created the earth in 6 days and rested on the 7th. And he also try to do that all the time.
Well, Carm, we have a big contingency out of the UK. And the minute you turn your phones on, you see that several Jews who are trying to pray in the synagogue are stabbed to death in Manchester. Your reaction to that? Is it becoming
very, very honestly?
Yeah.
They were, I'm sorry to say it this way, but they were only 2, and one was shot by mistake by the police. And let's not go there. It was my fault. Let's go and pick on the Adelsons.
I'll just say this. I don't think people realize to a large degree what it's like to even go to a synagogue on a holiday if you're not Jewish, but you have to have armed guards now. So that pretty much sums up the world we live in. And when I talk about armed guards, I'm talking about big guns with vests and multiple security guys.
We didn't have that because we went to a little
tiny place, but the place around the corner has a military force there, Carm. Rodney Alcala was the serial killer from the dating game. Okay, so Carm, 7:30, and by the way, we have some older pictures of courtesy of a guy named Scott Grunderson sent us some photos. STS Nation stepping up, but Carm, so Harvey owns this property at 731 Northwest 56th Street in Miami. Not a horrific neighborhood, not a great neighborhood. It's a 16-unit rental building worth well over $1 million. It's held under an entity called 731 16 Plex LLC. Look at this from Von Decay. And Von Decay, Carm and I did get your manuscript, and I'm going to have her look at it first, and she's smarter than me, and we will get back to you, or feel free to reach out.
I have to tell you, Miami is an interesting city in the sense that it has north, northeast, southwest, north, south, and I have zero sense of direction. and you never know where, like if I try to picture where this building is, since this is the first time I hear about it, I have no idea where it is located. I think places north of the center of the city.
It's west of you, Carm. And the further west you go,
getting into this. No, that's east of me is going into the sea.
it's west of you.
Going
Correct.
in the mainland.
Carm, it's a miracle. Our numbers are going up somehow. I expect them to go to
I
zero
don't
whenever
see the numbers.
You don't. I only see them, and I know you hate not having the control. But listen, we have the best guest in true crime.
Why don't we just totally like laser focus on this story
right after this? Carm.
Because it's a very, very unusual family.
We're gonna bust into all the. We're gonna bust into all the real estate.
I don't even understand that legally. If Charlie is now a murderer, convicted murderer, what happens to his properties or his real estate?
That's exactly what I'm going to talk to you about right after we talk about. We have the best guests in all true crime. Well, other people have even greater things. Hang on. There is a reason why Surviving the Survivor has the best guests in all true crime. Just like there's a reason that Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Not all law firms are created equal, and choosing the wrong one can cost you. If you've been in a serious accident or suffered an injury, your case could be worth millions, and that's why it's important to have the right legal team on your side. With over 1,000 attorneys nationwide and 35 years of experience, Morgan & Morgan will fight to get you the money you deserve. They've recovered more than $25 billion for over 500,000 clients. And the results really speak for themselves. In Florida recently, a client received $12 million after the insurance company offered just $350,000. And another got $20 million after insurance offered nothing. Then in Pennsylvania, a client was awarded $26 million. That's 40 times the insurer's $650,000 offer. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. And if you're injured because of someone else's negligence, then you deserve to be paid. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. You can start your claim now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen from your phone's camera. Carm, the building is 731 Northwest 56th Street in Miami. The bottom line is it's far west from you. It's decent. I would call it somewhat a quasi slumlord situation. It's a 16-unit rental for $1 million. To give you perspective, if you bought a 16-unit rental, we're talking about Harvey Adelson and Charlie Adelson here. If you bought a 16-unit rental near the beach, it would cost in excess of $20 million. To put it in perspective, there's no question about it. 16 units by the beach, closer to $20 million. 16 units west, it's $1 million. So it tells you a little bit about the difference in area. So it's held under an entity called 731 16plex LLC. The deal happened in 2020. Charlie Adelson, who is convicted back in 2023, back in 2020 was a free man. He brings in a guy named Alex Berkovich, and he sells him a 50% stake in this building for $243,000, which I don't understand, Carm, because the building is apparently worth upwards of $1 million, and this guy Alex Berkovich is now buying a 50% stake from Charlie for $243,000. Explain that to me. Is that because they have a loan out on it and the bank's paying the other half? What's going on? Why are they?
Wait a second. What year was this?
2020. This is where Carm is great, by the way. You're about to see Carm shine.
During COVID.
Correct. Yeah, I know. It's during COVID. But my question is, It's $1 million. It's
I don't know
slated.
how real estate was. Maybe what was down during COVID.
I mean, so he's asking for just a 50% stake for what is like a quarter of the worth of the building. Do you understand why that is happening?
No, let's continue. We don't
Okay.
know. This is something even I, who know everything, I don't know this.
Yes. There's a joke. The difference, this is just a joke. The difference between God and Carm is God does not know everything, but Carm does have an answer for pretty much everything.
Okay, except this one.
This show makes me incredibly nervous. Let us know if you want us to never do this again.
Nothing happened.
So Carm, the LLC was formed to hold the property. Again, it's called 73116 Plex, a fancy name. But disputes over the management quickly erupt. Here's the complaint from Charlie Adelson. But here's the problem. This is happening now. Charlie's in prison. That makes it tough to conduct business. So somehow Harvey got a power of attorney. And acting as Charlie's power of attorney, he has now sued the other owner, this guy Berkovich, whose first name is Alex. So he has now sued this guy Alex Berkovich, and he claims that this guy Alex Berkovich seized control, cut Charlie out of profits, and even filed tax returns erasing Charlie's ownership. Before we even get into the minutia of the lawsuit, it's fascinating to me that you lose your wife to what is going to be life in prison. You lose your son to what is going to be, or what is life in prison in South Dakota for now. And here you are fighting for your life over money. Is this something that's keeping Harvey busy? Is this something that is essential to his existential being? I mean, what's going on here? We know that.
Well, in all fairness to Harvey,
yeah,
he has 3 grandchildren, and maybe he's humane enough to be concerned for these grandchildren. One is Charlie's, and 2 are Wendy's.
So this is what, in this lawsuit that is going back and forth in a court of in a public court, obviously real estate transactions. This is what Harvey's asking for. He's asking for legally what is known as a partition, which is a forced sale of the property, He's also asking for declaratory relief, to confirm that Charlie still owns 50%, and he's looking for a full financial breakdown of the rental income. Are these fair asks, do you think?
Well, yeah, they are. I don't think he will ever benefit from this, Charlie, unless he can buy things in the canteen. But other than that, I don't think he will benefit from this money.
Yeah. I mean, this appears to be
and
owned.
Maybe his attorneys, they need money for the attorneys.
Yeah. Well,
they
Carm,
have additional expenses.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need to tell you, Wendy's got 2 children. You are friends with the Markels, Phil, Ruth, and Shelley. You know them. This seems to be owned by Charlie. So you don't necessarily... I'm not asking myself the question, are other beneficiaries involved? But intuitive Karen, who's intuitive for a reason, is asking more broadly about what do you think the I always kid with you, Carm. I hope my sister's not listening. I say, when you're no longer here, just make sure I get like 20% more than my sister, which is not really a joke. But in the Adelson family,
what do I say?
You say absolutely not. I'll get you to fold before
it's all
done.
It's funny.
Maybe 30%. But in the Adelson household, do you think, I mean, listen, I could not have asked for 2 better parents, took care of me well, had my interest and my sister's interest, but it doesn't seem like the Adelsons are necessarily equitable in that way. I think financially, I mean, do you think they're okay financially with all these trials, or do you think they're in a pinch financially now, if you had to guess?
I think nothing helps you get broke. No offense to all the attorneys who are listening, but nothing than legal expenses.
By the way, if you read my book, Surviving the Survivor, anytime Carm starts a sentence with no offense, the offense is coming immediately thereafter.
I learned this from one of my granddaughters. I expropriated the term because I think it's very cute. No offense. And then you boom.
1776 daughter. Harvey's soul is attached to his earthly possessions. How sad. Carm, I got to say, when you're younger, ironically, the rabbi spoke about this on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. He said, when you're on your deathbed, that is when you realize what is important in life. And people, you don't have to be religious, but you learn, you gain, what's the word I'm looking for? You get, when you go to the synagogue on a day that is as spiritual as that, or a church or a mosque, to be fair, you pick up, it resets you. And that is essentially what the Day of Atonement is. It's a reset in life. But one of the things the rabbi spoke about, Carm, is people worry about all these things, material goods, a fancy watch, which is ridiculous. I would never ask for a watch, Carm, or a fancy car or a car. Whatever. But he said that on your deathbed or as you get older, you're no longer interested in the material goods. But it appears that Harvey at 82 is still fixated on money. And I got to say, my own father, who's a product of the Great Depression, he worried about money a long time, Carm. So what are your thoughts on this? Is Harvey still fixated on the money and not the...
But you know what, your father, well, he was anxious about money. He inherited your anxiety, and he was
I inherited his.
On purpose, I said that.
Okay, thank you.
But with time, he said to me one day, he says, Carmela, I really noticed I stopped worrying about if we are going to outlive our money. Now I worry about the passing of time. He realized it relatively early on. But I have to tell you that I have to come to defend the attitude of old people who worry about money, because it's very unpleasant to be old and sick. But to be old and sick and broke is even more unpleasant. So I can see where money cannot buy you youth or health, but it can help you navigate all this old age stuff.
Look at this from Camilla. Put your big boy pants on, Joel. Your mom is a great co-host. I think she's telling me not to worry about this show, so I just won't. I'm just going to do the show.
But I had an epiphany. I love that word. I learned it recently. I had a major discovery this holiday, visiting with my daughter-in-law and my son, and my daughter-in-law and I were going together to the synagogue, which is probably, how far is it, would you say? How many miles?
Where we go from my house?
Yeah, where we go.
It's not even a mile, Carm. It's
maybe, it better be a mile, because
it is not even 1 mile. I'll clock it later. It's not even 1 mile.
It's 1 mile. Anyway, we were walking, but we were walking slowly because of me. And we were talking about how Joel, I love him dearly, but sometimes I think he's just putting on some of the things he says, but he genuinely gets upset about things that I don't. I always visualize him having a very thin skin and me having a pretty not thin skin, like not as bad as an elephant, but a pretty strong skin. And she said they have 3 children, and one of the 3 takes after Joel and also has a thin skin.
Carm, are you putting me down like relentlessly?
No, that's exactly the point, that I'm not putting you down. Different people respond to life differently. And it's very, very, I never realized, I think it's just a put on or something, but it really, you do get upset. Like last night, You remember what can you tell the people?
Oh.
I was thinking, wow, I really escaped
Uh-huh.
it. I behaved so well during my 25-hour, 26-hour visit.
Carm leaves a trail of destruction in her wake.
No,
A
that's
verbal trail of
not,
destruction.
no, not that part. No, but at 11 o'clock, the phone rings and it's Joel. And Joel says to me,
I honestly don't know why anyone would watch this. I really don't. It's a
it was
miracle.
so funny. I just
So
walked
tell everybody, Carm.
I walked into the trap. Joe calls me up and I'm waiting for the story. And he says, I just looked and I put on so much weight. And instead of saying, no, Joel, you are fine, you're fine, I said, I noticed it also. And then I felt terrible afterwards. Why did I ruin my perfect record and fell into his trap?
For the record, I have not. I just felt like it. However,
You
STS Nation.
And I have a new rule now. Not new, but like for the last few months.
We're definitely going to lose permanent subscribers because of this show. This is going to have to be something I think about moving forward about ever doing this again.
Families. This is all about families.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm convinced, and STS Nation, I would like your help with this because I know you're going to be good at this. Please email me, survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com. I'm constantly exhausted. I think that's the anxiety.
Okay, Joel, that we did enough now. Let's not say another word.
But the other thing is I feel like I bloat. Like, I don't know if it's a gluten allergy. I feel like anytime I eat something, if anyone has any suggestions regarding food allergies, glutens, let me know. Sharon TH here. Yom Kippur was yesterday, Carm, yesterday. Hope Donna fasted. Again, you're supposed to fast and ask for atonement, forgiveness. Do you think she did that, Carm, knowing her? She could have in jail. Do you think she's at a stage where she is now asking for forgiveness, Carm?
No, not yet.
Do you think Charlie fasted and or asked for forgiveness?
Or was he asked for special treatment and special foods and things like that.
He asked for another bandage for his toe. Julia, the nurse here. Super chat. Carm, we know that Wendy and Donna found Dan on J-Date. Do you think they went back on J-Date and found Jeff Lacoste to take? I don't think Jeff is Jewish, though.
No, he's not.
Considering how much he looks like
No,
Dan.
she did it on her own at the university.
I think she did. Okay, let's. I got to keep us on track here.
Okay, keep us on track.
So the building is at 731 Northwest 56th Street. For those who don't know Miami, it is sort of not far from where the Miami International Airport would be. Not a bad area for sure. Not a great area for sure. So Harvey now is suing for forced sale of the property. But before that, he wants to confirm that Charlie still owns half the property, and he wants a full financial breakdown of rental income. And he's suing this co-owner, whoever this Alex Berkovich guy is. And by the way, Steve Cohen, we should try to get him. Harvey alleges that distributions stopped in 2021. And this is around the time that Charlie ended up in jail. So I don't know, Carm, if I co-own something with somebody and they go to jail, I mean, that's an interesting, that's not a situation that most business owners are used to. I guess if you're a kosher business owner and doing things by the book, you realize that whoever is power of attorney, like Harvey in this case, is the one that's supposed to be getting the money. You're not supposed to take it over, but that's apparently what is happening. So he's asking for this full accounting, and now the defense is fighting back. They filed their own motion to dismiss. You following this so far, Carm?
Yes, I'm following so far. Charlie is not new to lawsuits, and I don't think the Adelsons are new to lawsuits. I run away from lawsuits and am horrified of the idea of lawsuits. but they had didn't they have a history of other lawsuits?
They're very litigious. They're very, but Carm, before you go off the rails, because I have to keep this show somewhat in line. Although if it's Friday and it's Carm, it's like trying to tame a pit bull. It's just not going to happen. I'm not.
Don't you dare to compare.
It's trying to herd feral cats. It's just not going to happen. The defense. By the way, Steve Cohen is listening to this, and Steve Cohen always refers to you and I as shtick. Can you please, it was just the holiest day of the year. Please tell everybody that this happens when we're not on camera. Please let them know that this
obviously it happens. Trust me, it happens worse.
It's a lot worse when it's not on camera. Believe it or not. That's why I'm exhausted. Look at this.
But this is the difference. I'm not exhausted. I'm having fun.
Look at this. Linda Mon. Bloated from soda. They know that I have a Coca-Cola addiction. I've cut that out. I completely cut it out. I'm going to only eat.
Joel, is there any other material or you're wasting our time?
So the defense files a motion to dismiss, Carm. They say that Harvey has no standing because the property belongs to the LLC, not to Charlie directly. Your thoughts on that? I know you're not a lawyer.
No, I am familiar with the LLCs. All paranoid people are familiar with that.
Yeah, but do you understand what they're saying? It's an LLC, and they're saying that Harvey can't step in here because it's not an entity owned by a person. It's owned by this LLC. So they're telling Harvey to get lost. And that
I know what an LLC is. It's an LLC is like a legal, like you said, a legal body that is created and kept arm's length, right? From the people. But somebody is responsible for the LLC. Maybe Charlie signed off the management of this LLC to this other person. And for that reason, I'm going back to law school.
Well, listen, so he says that Harvey should have filed for dissolution of the LLC, not a partition, which is a forced sale of the property. I should have probably brought on a real estate attorney, but what about that? So this,
yes, I think you should have instead of your mother.
And they claim that declaratory relief is, declaratory relief is redundant. And they say that Harvey skipped statutory steps before demanding an accounting. So, and now Harvey has a response to this, but let's just stop it right here. Again, is this giving, and I mean this in a very serious way, is this giving Harvey like a sense of purpose in life now? I mean, he literally has lost his wife, his son.
This keeps him busy. He can express some of his anger through this, some of his frustration, some of his need to fight. It serves many good purposes in his psyche, considering what he's going through and how angry he is.
So Marielle with a good question. Who owns the LLC? And this is the first show we've ever done really just solely on Harvey. And we have pictures of Harvey I'm going to show you thanks to Scott Grunderson.
Do you have that picture that you showed once before of Donna and Harvey when they were younger? And
I have some pictures, Carm. I'm going to show. I have a lot younger. Yeah, I'm going to show you them in a moment. Who owns the LLC? Marielle, great question. From what I understand, it was created by Charlie and his business partner, but he only brought the business partner in later. And my guess is that Charlie is the one who initiated it, but I'm sure that this guy, Alex Berkovich, the co-owner, must be on there. Now,
right now as we speak, probably there are several tens of thousands of real estate attorneys in Miami, and one who could answer this question.
Yeah, I know like 17 of them.
I know.
Just wondering.
There are more of those than criminal attorneys.
Yeah, it's more fun to do this without any legal background. So Harvey responded, Carm.
Somebody will beat us up one day for this behavior. What?
COE, is it possible to create a poll to see if STS Nation wants to continue with Carm on Fridays without Carm or without me at all, and just Carm?
Joel, Joel, don't worry about that. Just think of the present moment.
Carm, what about this? Carm reminds me so much of my bubby, grandmother in Yiddish, her family from Poland and Lithuania. At one time, there was men chasing you, and now women are telling you that you remind them of their bubby. Is that upsetting, or is it?
Grandmother.
Carm, you used to have a lot of men chase you back in the day, Carm.
Joel, just relax. No man chased me. I was everybody's friend always.
Look at this. And her bubby is also from 1939, same year as Carm.
Yeah.
Okay. So Harvey now responds to this whole mess, and he says he's now citing Florida Supreme Court cases, including something called Kay and Wofford, which allows partition when an entity is just a shell for holding real estate. He says that dissolution isn't mandatory, that the partition is still an option. He argues that this business owner deliberately ignored Charlie's 50% membership interest, even on tax returns. I mean, Carm, I know you're not an attorney, but if this guy is not filing about, can
I say something really nasty?
Yes.
Charlie was a little bit stepping over to the other side from the law, and I cannot imagine that he picked a partner who is a choir boy and the saint. Be
careful there, Carm. This guy's not in prison. He'll come right after us, Alex Berkovich. I have no idea who he is.
I mean,
but I hear what you're saying.
Otherwise, they would be able to sit down and straighten out what's going on.
Well, Alex Berkovich, you have an open invitation on SGS to tell us your side of the Harvey Adelson, Charlie Adelson legal dispute. So Harvey insists that he's entitled to this 50% of this place. And now there was a case management ordered, but this is actually set to go to trial, Carm. This is going to go.
We are going to go.
I'm serious. This is supposed to go to a jury. The judge in Miami is named Migna Sanchez Lorenz. Migna Sanchez Lorenz. She set strict deadlines here. Discovery is due early. Thank you. Look at this from S. Hughes with a horse, and we both love horses. The best guest ever is Carm. $100, Carm. I will buy you a new sweater vest.
Finally, I know my worth.
Yes. And look at this, Carm. Thule Pool. There's very few content creators in the world who can say that they've got a viewer from the kingdom of Lesotho. What do you think of that?
That's interesting.
Yeah, Thule Pool. So, Carm, there's going to be a trial here.
Write down this name, because one day we will have.
I know Thule Pool's name inside out.
Okay.
So the trial is set now for May 17th of 2026, unless it settles. And right now, they're both playing a game of chicken. Carm.
I don't even understand. When Wendy was testifying in her mother's trial, when it was over, she went over, gave a hug and a kiss to her father, right?
Say that again.
When Wendy testified in Donna's trial, in the end, she went over
before,
to Harvey.
At the end, at the beginning, she went over and was told to step outside.
Anyway, and gave a hug and kiss to her father. So what I am implying here is that she's on talking terms with her father, correct?
Yeah, yes and no. My gut instinct there was that she hadn't seen him in a long time. She saw him in court. It's still her father. Carm, just let's step back
but the reason I am mentioning that she came and gave him a hug and a kiss was the fact that she is an attorney. She knows more than you and I put together. And why cannot she advise him which way to move, which way to proceed?
I don't think she knows the law too well, Carm, is my gut instinct. So there's people who go to law school and there's lawyers, and she went to law school. I wonder if Georgia ever watches this. I think I'm okay to say this. We've invited Georgia on the show and she accepted. It's going to be after Donna's sentencing. So we are going to have the great Georgia Kappelman on this show, thanks to Steve Cohen.
May I ask you something?
Please.
Is it not okay to mention that we already had her on our show?
We had her when, like, the first day we ever had a podcast about this. Like, we didn't even know who she was at the time, and we're interviewing.
Yes, we did.
We
yes,
did. We did.
Yes,
we did. I'm talking relative to now.
We honored her, and she was on our show, and it was a very beginner. It means that we behave with a little more respect and less pathologically than now when we were with her. And she was very candid, and what she could talk about, she talked about, and what she couldn't, she didn't. But she spent over an hour with us.
Listen, I don't do anything, Carm. It used to be I don't do anything without running it by you, but now I run everything by STS Nation. I'm not going to confirm or deny this, but someone out of the Hollywood, Los Angeles area may or may have not reached out inquiring about the potential of doing a Carm-based reality show. Please email me, Surviving the Survivor, if you'd be interested. Framed as the oldest true crime podcaster and licensed therapist in the world, would you watch a reality show with Carm as a central figure?
Joel,
yes.
They start making it, Joel, listen to this. And then something happens to yours truly, and they go, whoops, here goes the $200,000 investment. Whoops. It's a risky business getting into
risky business at 86. But I was just asking you about Mel Brooks. I asked you what he does every day. He's at 96, Carm.
Well, Mel Brooks is funny.
You should make a run for Mel Brooks. By the way, being the great son that I am, I think I can say this too. Steve Martin is in town with Martin Short, and Carm loves both of them. I'm taking her to see them. Just a mother-son date on Saturday night. So everyone who tells me I'm a horrible son.
Something to you. Not many daughter-in-laws would put up with the husband taking the mother-in-law to a show on a Saturday night, and they're staying home with the children. She's a definite unusual person in many ways, and I really respect her tremendously. That she did. I didn't ask for it. I don't know. She didn't want to go, because usually we go the three of us.
Carm, I don't even think COE knows who Steve Martin is. You know, I thought he was on the original season of SNL, but he is one of the original hosts. The two of them are hilarious. I don't know what they're going to talk about. I think the tour is called The Tour That You Will Never Remember instead of Forget. They're two funny guys. They've been doing. They're each 80 years old, I think.
How much are you getting paid for advertising?
I would like to get paid for it. I think I should. But I'm taking you as a solo date on Saturday. But back to this for a moment, because this is an interesting story.
I think. Okay, go ahead.
Surviving the Survivor is finally getting some notice, and so again, people asked. They approached me, and I said, probably our most interesting guest is Carm, and it piqued their interest. So if you email me, survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com, about a reality show based on Carm, I will maybe forward it to these people. You let me know what you think, or if it's a really bad idea.
Listen, Joel,
or if it's a good idea.
Joel, somebody he wrote just before, I remember Dr. Ruth. And I used to do, and I cannot imitate people, but Dr. Ruth, I really got. And all the
you have the same accent. There's nothing to imitate.
And I know, but I also did a very graphic description of the involvement that she dealt with men and women. And, that was kind of funny. She was kind of funny.
Again, I'm just mystified that anyone is watching this, but we'll keep rolling with it. Let me just go back, because these are things that I actually think about. This is not a joke.
But I
This is
don't
not
have
shtick.
to
This is
say
what bothers me, is that people think that this is shtick. It's not shtick. I really want to know, what do you think that Mel Brooks, who's done everything, he's probably like the like he is like the face of comedy over the last 100 years. He's arguably the funniest man to ever live. What does he do every day at 96, Carm? Like, does he drink prune juice? Does he take a nap?
what
What
she
does
wrote
he do?
that, Joel, though.
Yeah, we're gonna sit. We're
You
gonna
know
talk
what,
and get yelled
Joel?
at.
You know what, Joel?
What does he
Joel,
do?
you know what
Yeah,
my fantasy was of Mel Brooks?
yeah.
Mel Brooks was funny, but my fantasy is 96 now.
Yeah.
And my fantasy is that his commode is very close to his bed.
Yeah. Here's the other thing I worry about. It's not this is, again, I'm underscoring. These are things that I think about, and it gives me anxiety. His last big hit was like in 1981. Like, how's he live? How does he? I mean, he had a book out. How much did that book make? Like, is he well off, Mel Brooks?
Joel,
Yeah.
I recommend that we go back and show what you have to show, because I really feel uncomfortable just doing this.
So, Carm, let's go back to Harvey here, and we'll stick on with Harvey for a little bit, and then we'll do leave a comment for Carm or ask a question for Carm. That was the original idea for the show we did. You can ask her about anything the last 20 minutes of this show, but let me just go through some questions here, Carm. These are like rapid fire questions. From Matt B. Wendy cares only about herself. Harvey, you're on your own. STS is the authority. This is true. I would agree with this on all things Adelson, but it's only because of our best guests. And this is true too. Steve Martin is the jerk. Carm, gut instinct. You said that Harvey was guilty from day one, not of pulling a trigger, but of enabling everything.
No. I didn't say he's enabling everything.
Enabling.
I didn't say.
Or at least passively participating.
What I said, that it's impossible that he did not hear anything, considering that he literally, not even symbolically, literally slept in the same bed with his wife, and they were very close, and they lived in a fancy building, but in a small apartment.
Mm.
And they were like on top of each other. I don't think you could have secrets.
Yeah. I just had a completely left field thought here. Here it says, Carm is the mother we wish we all had. You know that
and afterwards regret their wish.
Michelle says she hopes his commode is near his bed. Did I hear that correctly? Yes, you did. Carm, I sent you a picture of your husband, my father, last night with my oldest daughter when she was a baby. You know, I have all these clips of dad, like video clips, but I just can't bring myself to watch anything. Still, 3 years later, I think it'll depress me too much. Should we do it together at some point?
Joel?
Yeah.
I want to tell you that this family is really truncated. I like the term, really now. By the way, just to respond to a previous comment, when I said that Harvey is trying to salvage some money for his 3 grandchildren, Charlie's one and Wendy's 2, I think he feels that what is his now? Suddenly I am blocking the third one's name.
Look at this. Mel Brooks is worth $100 million. I guess he doesn't have to worry about money. Yeah.
Robert is the third.
The first episode of your reality. Yes, Robert. The first episode of the reality show should be you knocking on Mel Brooks's door, asking to see his commode and see if it's worth near his bed. Okay, Carm, I'm going to ask you questions rapid fire. So Donna's in prison. Charlie's in prison. Wendy is essentially estranged now. Harvey is left alone. You just mentioned Rob. He's out of the picture. So psychologically, what do you think happens to Harvey, who built this family from scratch and then turned it into a bit of an empire with the Adelson Dental Institute, and now it essentially has all evaporated before him? What do you think this experience is like for him?
I think it's if he would allow it to get hold of him and wash over him, I think it would be pretty devastating.
Mm.
Listen, I said horrible things about lawyers. Now I'm going to say horrible things about dentists, even though dentists are some of my best friends. Uh, there is, yeah, this is the picture. There is a certain anger and hostility in some dentists that I know, and I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, but they have anger, and this has to be now compounded with the anger of what happened to his family, and he doesn't seem to be angry at Donna for causing it. I have the feeling that he doesn't. I think he's probably angry that she was caught, but I don't know if he's angry about what she did. And gave her beautiful teeth, by the way. Look at these teeth.
Yeah. So what, Carm, when you look at this picture, I mean, look, there's no denying they're a good-looking couple. When
very
you look
good-looking couple, and happy-looking couple.
Yeah. When you look at this couple, what do you see here?
I don't see future murder. No.
You don't.
No.
Do you find? I mean, in this photo, would you describe Harvey? And listen,
like you said something when you saw him in the Metro diner. When you saw Harvey in the Metro diner,
not a diner, it's a deli, but close enough.
Metro deli. Then you realize that he could be, very threatening and very angry. I think if he wouldn't have that kind of facial expression after what he is going through, then he would be like in La La Land in total denial, because he's going through the worst possible, absolutely the worst possible thing. I mean, life is tough. People die young from cancer. People get hit by cars and so on and so forth. But to have your beautiful, strappy dentist son forever in a jail, it's like buried alive. That would be pretty upsetting for any father.
Carm, what do you think it is that differentiated Mel Brooks from the pack? Like today, you got all these, I don't want to offend anybody, but all these Joe Rogan hacks, like the circle of idiots with like fraternity brother humor. And here you have this 96-year-old man who was just, everything that came out of his mouth was funny. Him and Carl Reiner. But what was it? What was it about
that? Not him necessarily. Not everybody thought that. He did the 2,000-year-old man. They carried on about that. You remember?
Yeah, but where is his humor? Where is his humor come from?
Listen, let's not go there, because humor comes from. It's one way to respond with horrible difficulties, and the Jews through the years had major difficulties, and they used humor as an antidote to their horrible lives.
I can't agree with a comment more than this one from
Why?
Kenneth Kilcrease. Joel, be patient with your mother and really listen to her. She has far better insight than you realize. I would have to agree. There's nothing I can say to, sometimes
because I'm paranoid, so I always have to remodify my.
All right, the COE's taken us through these photos. We looked at this photo the other day. This is Donna running the Adelson Institute.
And somebody commented that here they were wearing these. She was wearing an office manager uniform. Mm-hmm. That is very similar to her jail uniform. And I commented on, look how many patients they had. Look at the files.
And this, Carm, goes under the heading of what Sarah Catherine Dugan, I think, said at the beginning of the trial, which is a killer does not have a specific look. Would you ever have looked at this photo and said that this woman is going to be serving a life sentence in prison for murder? Would you have ever thought that?
No, I wouldn't have. I would not have. And
Here's
she had everything in life, everything. If you think, you give me one thing she didn't have, and the only thing she wanted, the grandchildren are not ours. The grandchildren are um, their parents' children. They're not ours. And she demanded that they move close to her. You know, I have to say something here, and I rarely speak about my mother, but when I met my husband, a future husband, some of the aunts told my mother, "Don't let her go to America. You will never see her. You are stuck here in Europe, and she's in America." And my mother said, and her happiness is more important to me. And I met her future husband, Roy, and I really like him, and I'm not going to stop them. In other words, she was willing to let me go from one continent to another continent. We personalize everything, I'm sorry, but it's a true story. And so I came to America. And at that time, you didn't have Skype, you didn't have any kind of, if you had to pay a fortune for the phone calls. And we wrote to each other, and we visited when we could afford it. Later on, we visited her for a few weeks every summer, but still, she gave up, more or less. She gave up her closeness to me, and even the possibility of communicating with her grandchildren who were speaking English. When she would come for a visit, she would come for 3 months. So anyway, Donna couldn't face from one end of Florida to the other end of Florida to take a flight and come to South Florida. She couldn't deal with that.
Look at Black Widow, brave woman. I really don't want my children to go to America. You know what? You're probably better off. It's a violent place. Look at this. This is the Adelson family now. You've got Harvey in court. You've got an old family photo of Harvey and Donna. Donna looks a little possessed to me in that photo. Rob looks like a sweet guy. I mean, Wendy looks like a cute little girl. Look at Charlie's smile. I mean, Carm, you look at this. I mean, it's hard to compute what
this is the American dream, the happy American family, 3.7 children. But look at what I try to explain to you about Harvey. Look at the line of his mouth. You see how it goes down?
Goes down.
Yeah. He has to be bitter now. There is no other way for him to be. If he is not bitter, then, as I said, he's in denial.
Now, this is interesting. Again, shout out to, I think it is Scott Grunderson, who sent us these photos. This is now at Harvey's 50th high school reunion. I had his high school written down, and I'm now absent of the name. But you see Donna. COE, why are you taking this down here?
Because she will tell you what's the name of the high school.
So you see, this is Harvey Adelson's high school picture. He looks 47 to me, but back then, people look 47.
Because they wore
it's called it's Stuyvesant High School, which is a well-known.
Yeah, it's a well-known high school in New York.
And there's a photo of it to the right. The yearbook's called The Indicator. He was on the football team, intramural basketball team, arts and science club, nuclear science seminar, Caliper literary staff, AM squad. I don't know what that's. I have no idea what that is. And then you see that's all in that photo there. What do you think of his high school picture? Carm, why did people back then look like they're 73 in their high school yearbook photos?
I told you, because they wore a suit with a tie.
Yeah, it's like just a different time. Like Dad would have worn a suit and tie like this.
Yeah.
Like, now,
Well, my husband was much older than Harvey.
Now I'm just hoping my kids don't have face tats for their high school photos. Like that's the world we live in.
What? They don't have what?
Well, my kids to have face tattoos. It's like you got to worry about crazy stuff now.
Yeah.
Okay, Harvey the athlete. This is his foot. He was on the football team, Carm. And there he is with a arrow pointing to him. Would you have expected Harvey to be on his high school football team?
No. I would not have expected it.
And here we are. This is
definitely not a life well lived.
No, and here are the Guttersons. This is a guy who testified.
They said the funniest things, very embarrassing. I forget what he said, something.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. I don't know if anybody else noticed it. This guy came and as a witness, he tried to explain why his friend Harvey bought a one-way ticket to Vietnam. And his reasoning was so twisted. He said the reason was, if you buy a ticket in America, it costs X. If you buy the return ticket in Vietnam, because of the currency there, it could be X minus 20%. So it's cheaper to buy it there, the return ticket, than in America. And that's the reason he didn't buy it's not that he didn't want to come back. He definitely wanted to come back, but it was cheaper.
Scott, by the way, if you're watching this, we appreciate the fruits of your labor. Email us, survivingthesurvivor@gmail. I'll send you out a little swag bag for finding these photos. And this is why I always say,
whatever you showed today, the way I would, if I may, the way I would sum it up is that Harvey is a lone man. He can't even remarry because he's married. Yeah, he can't remarry.
Can he date? I guess he can date, right?
He can date.
You think he's gonna, Carm?
Donna would like it.
You think he's going to?
No, I think they are attached to each other. I really think
there's no conjugal visits.
Maybe I'm projecting, but I think they are attached to each other. And then he found now a way to occupy himself, because people need activities to occupy themselves. So this is his activity now, chasing after this building.
Carm, what do you think of this comment? Nancy Kelly, you look just like your mother.
Well, if you experience this as an insult, then tell her.
Barb Russell, Harvey already has a side piece. Okay, Carm. So a couple quick questions for you.
What is a side piece? A gun?
No, like a girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah. By the way, Carm, they now have, look at this. I did not bring it up again. I'm reading your book and I love it. It's available on Audible. It's available on Amazon, anywhere books are sold. Same title as the podcast. You get Carm's wisdom in the book.
Joel,
the first laugh out loud Holocaust story ever written. Huh?
Did you tell them we are going to the Miami Book Fair, or you forgot to?
Carm and I are going to be speaking at the Miami Book Fair. I'll put out details as we get closer. It's going to be in November. I'm going to be doing a recap on Diddy after this. It's not going to be a live show, and then I'm going to put it up under the video tab. And by the way, big announcement. Monday, we have secured Josh and Sandy Greenberg. If you have not seen, there is a new Hulu 3-part docuseries on Ellen Greenberg, the elementary school teacher found in 2011 with 20 stab wounds, and it was ruled a suicide. To me, one of the biggest miscarriages of justice. The parents are coming on Monday, along with the private investigator, Tom Brennan. Please be here at 5 p.m. Eastern at a special time to support the family. The docuseries, which is done again by Hulu's, getting a lot of praise, and they need the support. So please come and support the family. Carm, a couple of quick rapid fire questions. I see you looking at your watch. This is sort of the time you begin to tune out.
How did you know when I was under the table?
Because you make it so obvious, Carm. Great book. Loved reading it. Thank you. So how do you see these photos, all these pictures, Carm, in general?
Their lives.
How are people so good, and we live in an Instagram world, just generally speaking, how are people so good at putting up photos, but you really have no idea what's going on behind the picture? Why is that? What is that? What's that all about?
I was just reading about Didi. I didn't hear the question.
Why, Instagram, Facebook, but this is before then. We see these photos. How are people able to project this sort of perfect happiness and put togetherness when in reality this is a controlling woman that decides at some juncture in her life to put a hit out on her son-in-law? How are you able to hide that?
You know how?
Yeah.
Well, she was controlling her family. Then Robert sort of got away. And she sort of had to what is the word? When you give up. She had to give up on Robert. She had to let go of Robert. She tried to stop him, but she couldn't, and she let go of him. And she was already hurt by that. The word is capitulate with Robert. The word is capitulate. She had to capitulate with Robert. And then along came, she got along fine with Charlie because Charlie was just living the life, and I even at one moment suspected that she lived vicariously through his adventures that he entertained her with. And then came Wendy, and she had to control Wendy's life, and she ran into Dan Markel, who stood up to her in a certain way. All the others, well, Robert stood up to her too, and that must have been a blow to her that first her son and now her daughter are standing. Her daughter's husband is standing up to her, and she just couldn't deal with this defeat, what she perceived as a defeat. So for a very minor, in my estimation, a very minor reason, she blew up everything. And he couldn't stop her. Or why didn't Harvey stop her? Why didn't Harvey say, absolutely not, you are not going to do this?
By the way, now is the time. If you have any question for Carm, whether it be about whale migration, your ex, your current living boyfriend or girlfriend, astrophysics. By the way, Carm, I'm reading a book about why this one person believes in the existence of God. And what do they mention in there? Who do they mention? Even the COEs. They mention Arno Penzias. For those who do not know, Arno Penzias is from my hometown, Carmela's adopted hometown. And he used to come over and fix the clock in our kitchen. And he won, because my father was not handy, shockingly. And he used to come over and fix the clock. He won the Nobel Physics Prize for the Big Bang Theory. That was his theory, that the universe is echoing because of its never-ending expansion. How in the hell, Carm? I remember that day. It was like 1977, maybe. You guys woke me up at 7 a.m. screaming that he won this award. I couldn't care less. But it turns out it was a big deal. Now he's being written about in books. But here's my question. How did that guy figure that out? That's an insane thing.
Well, first of all, there were two of them, and they were doing research at the Bell Labs.
By the way, before you keep going, this is the time to put in your questions. We have a few moments left, and I see Abby put one in, and we'll get that's a tough question, Abby. But go ahead. If you have questions, triple Q's. or it could be a comment. Go ahead, Carm. Sorry.
I asked Joel if he
Cared about Arno as a kid. He said not really. He was just his dad's friend who would change the clock battery. Yeah, we had it built.
That
It was like
very interesting. He lived 3 houses away from us, and we had a kitchen from the previous owner that above the sink there was a clock, a built-in clock. And of course, Roy couldn't do it because he wasn't handy. And Arno went on a ladder and fixed it in no time. And then I remember, as if it were today, I said, I'm still being paranoid. I said, I really don't feel right using the microwave. It just came out, the microwave. And then he gave me a Geiger
counter, a Geiger
counter. And he said, I can check and I will feel better that there is no leakage and that it's good. And I did that.
And let me tell you something. It's interesting. He actually used a microwave. I read about it in this book. It talks about it. He was hearing noise through a microwave that he and his science partner built.
Yeah, they heard
an echo, and they thought that the echo was coming from something on Earth. And then they had to check flight patterns and all these things. And then they realized that the echo wouldn't go away. And that's when they discovered this notion that the Earth.
A partner called Wilson, and the two of them did the research, and the idea was, if I understand, remember, I know everything. So the universe, according to this theory, started with a big bang, a very small matter that exploded and expanded, and that's how the universe was created. But he heard he saw the
spit it out, Carm. Spit it out.
The radiation.
No, he didn't see it. He heard the hum. It was a hum.
Yeah.
They were hearing a hum. But Carm,
of course, you didn't understand. But I have to tell you one more thing about Arno Penzias.
And then I have a question for you about him.
Very interesting. Everybody should be. He was a very giving, generous, kind, good person. And he enjoyed to putter around and fix things and so forth. But one of his problems when he got already the Nobel Prizes, that people clustered around him, and he never knew if people liked him for himself or did they like him because he was now,
He's a good-looking man too. He was a good-looking man. He was a famous scientist. Yeah.
And he talked to Roy, who was, of course, a shrink, about this feeling that he didn't trust that people liked him for himself.
Carm, did he ever try to hit on you? Obviously, I was too young.
100% not.
No, I would never have picked up. I was too young. How dare he?
Believe me, Joel. Don't make me into Peyton Place.
Carton, let me ask you a question. How do you get to a level of intelligence where you figure out that there's a hum in the universe and you come up with a theory that is universally held by the entire world? How do you get to be that level of intelligence? I mean, he looked like a normal guy. He didn't look like Bugs. Can you pull up an old picture of, by the way, it's Arno Penzias. Bugs thought it was Arnold, but it's not Arno, it's Arno. How do you become that smart? I don't understand it.
I don't know if it's that smart. He did do a lot of research. He had hundreds of patents. He worked on this for years and years and years and years with his partner, and they did research. And
here's my question. What do you do every day when you're searching, like when you're investigating a hum in the universe? Like, what I worry about structure. Like, what would he do? Like, would he say at 11:30, I have to go check the microwave, and then at 1, like, what did he do every day to get to this point? Do you understand it?
I don't know, but he was of Germanic background, so that I am sure that he was a very hardworking, disciplined, structured, organized person.
Unlike me. That's the message there. By the way,
it had nothing. I wasn't even remotely thinking of you.
Here's how sad life is. He died recently. He had Alzheimer's. He didn't even know his name. Here's a guy that figured out the Big Bang Theory. But Carm, the question remains to this day, what happened right before the Big Bang? That's the question.
Well, read the book.
All right, here we go. Some questions from STS Nation as we'll go a few more minutes, then Carm will completely pass out. Carm, by the way, works out at least twice a week. I did not know this, but she apparently told the COE that she lifts more weight than the COE, which I find hilarious because they're now competing.
No. She chooses not to lift more weights than she chooses
Carm,
not.
I heard you said that you lift harder than the COE, and now there's a challenge on.
No. I went because I had a pain. I went to my friend's son, who happens to be a orthopedic surgeon, and he said I shouldn't lift more than 3 pounds, and I lift 10 pounds in each hand. But it's not so much.
COE, do you want to bring up questions? Because I, for some reason, can't seem. Now we're on to the question portion. Here we go. Carm, do you think you don't have to read, Carm? You lean all the way and I'll read for you. Do you think Harvey will die with their sadness, or do you think he'll move with this sadness, or do you think he's going to move closer to Wendy where he will eventually find a girlfriend?
He has survived the first 2 years of her imprisonment, correct?
Yes.
We were all shocked. People thought that Donna will wither away and disappear and will not be able to function anymore. And I looked at my crystal ball and I predicted that Donna will go into the prison. She will feel horrible at first, then she will organize everybody, and she will be like one of the elder statesmen in the prison. Harvey, we see what Harvey does with his newfound free time.
You know what's so sad? Neither Donna nor Charlie will be allowed to attend Harvey's funeral. He will die alone, literally. Pretty sad. Rob won't be there, I don't think. Could literally be Wendy.
He'll be there.
Maybe he'll show up.
Because he's a decent human being.
Maybe he will. Kathy Barella, Carm, I don't know. There's something missing in this question. Don't you think Don and Harvey wanted to relive their something and raise Wendy's children? Do you think that was the goal, was to raise Wendy's children?
Yes.
Thereby
that's what she did. From the age of 3 to the age of 14, she raised those children.
Dr. Vonda Kay, and Carm, Dr. Vonda Kay sent a children's book she would like you to read. I printed out the World Cat summary. I don't even know what that is, but it's interesting. Of Roy Waldman's book. That's your husband, late husband. Humanistic Psychiatry from Oppression to Choice. Have you read it? And if so, how do you think Roy's book compares with Joel's?
Apples and oranges. When Joel was in Tallahassee, during that time, I reread Roy's book, and I have to say that my husband had a sense of humor, and not long before his death, he reread his book, and he said to me, Carmela, I really don't understand what I meant by this and this and this. Can you explain it to me? And he wrote the book. So the book is very interesting concepts and ideas, a little historic because it was written in the 1960s, and it is revolutionary in psychiatry for that time and that epoch. Today, it maybe is not as a la mode. It's not as fashionable, but it's very deep and very meaningful. And if people understand what he meant, that would change their view of how they live their lives.
I know a lot of you will find this hard to believe, being that he was my father, but he was a bit quirky and anxious his whole life. But he would do things like, remember when he had his baked potato obsession? He said that he discovered that a baked potato has every nutrient you need to survive, and he went like a year just eating baked potatoes.
No, he ate other things
It
too.
was primarily baked potatoes. He could just what did he say his favorite flavor was?
Favorite flavor?
Yeah.
He said something about that.
Said my favorite. God, don't play bland. Even the COE knows. The COE just put it up. His favorite flavor, bland.
Oh, in general.
Yeah, like he would just eat a baked potato. He didn't need Haagen-Dazs like I do. He would just sit there.
He loved ice cream.
Then he heard something about tomatoes and prostates, and then all of a sudden there was 10,000 cans of tomato sauce in our whatever. Checking in from Tel Aviv just to say I want to see Carm versus the COE in a lifting contest. This could be part of the new reality show. Here we go, Carm. This is perhaps the best question of the day from Tina in Tennessee. Carm, how much chasing for a conversation should I do when meeting men in online dating? This is the kind of question I like.
Carm, how much chasing for a conversation should I do? What does it mean, chasing? Do you understand?
Like, how much should she pursue, like, the conversation? In other words, should she, like, engage heavily in the conversation or give a one-word answer like the COE would do, and then you have to pursue it and keep pursuing it?
Well, if it's somebody who sounds interesting, I would put in more energy. If it sounds not so interesting, I would put in less energy.
COE, can you I'm going to screenshot this here. Look at this. For my fatigue, skip gluten for a month. I don't even know what gluten is. Does that just mean all bread? Skip gluten for a month. Take B12. Also have an energy-sustaining breakfast. Cut up Honeycrisp apple. Add olive oil, balsamic, sea salt, and cinnamon. Honey I'm going to do this. And I'm going to see if I have more energy. Because right now I wake up like I never slept. I had a dream that I had a dream. I asked the COE to get matching tattoos. She refused. I was devastated. That's how I woke up yesterday. Arrest Wendy and Harvey. Any final question? A final question. It's a great question. Who is this? I have no idea.
I have to say something. I will sound like Mother Teresa.
Yeah, please.
I think the secret of life is to stop wanting too much, because you will self-destroy if you want more and more and more all the time. And that's what Donna did. She had everything. They went on vacations. They lived in beautiful places. They went out to eat. They loved each other. They danced. They did everything. And then she wanted those grandchildren right next to her. And then everything unraveled and was distracted. So you have to know when to stop. I have to know when to stop.
Here's a question for the COE. Here's a question for the COE. How does Carm compare to Donna as a mother-in-law? And look who we have for the answer. COE, how do you answer that? COE, how do you answer that? COE, how do you answer that? She won't answer. Someone else is telling me to drink ginger tea. Joel, you might have an ulcer. Thanks, Ned. Now I can worry about that all weekend. Now, Debbie Martin says, this I definitely have. Adrenal fatigue.
What's adrenal fatigue?
Bill Davis says, I quit gluten. But is gluten, I got to know, is gluten anything and everything that's yeast?
No. A lot of people are talking about gluten.
My neck has things. Thank you, Ned Smith. My neck has improved. I did. Carm said to me, and I quote, if you get a shot in your neck and you end up a quadriplegic in a wheelchair, I'll push you off the side of a mountain. That's what she said to me. And I went and got the shots anyway, and they actually helped quite a bit. but it's sort of still perpetually in the background. But thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I may have sleep apnea. That's another thing that I worried about.
No, there is a problem because there are no hillsides in Miami.
Do you realize how many things can possibly go wrong? There's only one way to be born, right? There's one way to be born. I mean, arguably through in vitro too, but it's all one way, literally one way.
Well, if you get all this advice, you have you are gluten tolerant. You have sleep apnea.
Now, I'm really at a point where I'm serious. I need help. I need the it's a constant exhaustion, and I think it's related to some
My
food.
God, it's really embarrasses me. I am the mother here.
Carm, you have any final thoughts as we by the way, Abby Tahaha, someone just says I have ADHD and I need Ritalin, which is probably true. Black Widow says there's nothing wrong with you. I don't know. Look right here.
Thank you, Black Widow. And
Gen X says I need Ritalin, Adderall, and I've never heard of this. Vyvanse.
Don't tell him because he will start to take it and he doesn't need it.
I'm taking a picture of it. No, I do need it. Carm, I'm going through male menopause, they say. Carm, Diet Pepsi drinker, says I love Carm. Do you think this is a good idea to keep doing the show on Fridays? I kind of like it.
Well, not every Friday. We don't want to bore people to death.
Can you guys email us? Let us. Vyvanse is what. Abby Tahaha had a question. She wanted to know what you think of the Baha'i religion. It's completely out of left field. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
I tell you, I know a little about it.
I know nothing about it.
First of all, there were Baha'i in a number of countries. And it's an unusual religion in the sense that it's also, if I remember, tolerant of other religions. So you can incorporate it with other religions. But then they were, what was it in Iran that they were chased out? Anyway, the only place on the planet where the headquarters are in Haifa, Israel, and they have the most beautiful, beautiful grounds on a hillside, like hanging gardens from the top of the hill down to the sea, and that's the Baha'i headquarters. And after we finish this, I'm going to Google and learn about the Baha'i, what they stand for, because I don't know.
It was a much more complex and involved answer than I ever thought. Carm, one other question I'm thinking about, and I'm curious what other people, when you're just going through the day and like you get off the podcast and now you'll spend until you eat your dinner, like what do you think of? Because I just think about tragedy and what could go wrong from the second I'm done here until the next interruption, which is a conversation with, let's say, my kids. And I'm curious how your mind works. Like, what do you think about?
First of all, I have to confess, I have a lot of, many times my phone overheats because I listen to all sorts of lectures and all sorts of podcasts and all sorts of stories, and they entertain me. I don't listen to enough just music. I'm very verbal, so I listen to different podcasts, and I religiously listen to Joel's podcasts.
Thank you.
I do. And I talk to friends. I prepare my food. I take care of my house.
But like in the moments of total, like just you alone, what are you thinking about? Like, are you telling yourself good thoughts? Are you telling yourself, I'm good at this?
Yes. I like if I think about how short my life is left, the time is left, I switch my brain to something else. I don't wallow in it. I change the subject for my brain. Uh,
Mm.
I think over pleasant, like I thought of the grandkids. I thought of different things that are pleasant and good, because I learned, I always say this, your brain can only think of one thing at one given time. You
Mm.
cannot think of two different things simultaneously. You have to think of one thing, and why not make it pleasant, that one thing. So I try to think of pleasant things, and I try to, even in my own thoughts, I try to use humor sometimes, like kidding myself, and
Mm.
almost like maybe I'm schizophrenic, because I sometimes tease myself and I say funny things to myself.
Yeah, it's come full circle. I bet if you dig 1 centimeter under Mel Brooks's skin, you get more anxiety and angst and all kinds of stuff out of him than anyone. Cajun Queen here. This is the final question, Carm, and it's a good one. Carm, what is the youngest age you think a child should have a cell phone? I'm a grandma, and my daughter may be thinking about getting one for my 10-year-old grandson, and I think it is too young. Besides calling me fat yesterday, you left someone else upset having to do with the cell phone, Carm. So we can also, Carm, what's a good age for a cell phone? That's the question.
Um, well, it's a very interesting thing. I thought that the cell phone was the worst thing. And I was in Israel, I was in a supermarket, and this woman said to me, I don't know, we started to talk, and she said, the best thing ever that happened to her is that her kids have phones, so she knows where they are and she doesn't have to worry about them.
Mm.
And I personally think that too much airtime for little kids is really not good, and too much, like before the iPhone, kids were on their regular phones. When they came home from school, they would hang out on their phones, and they would uh, socialize the rest of the evening, and they could say pretty cruel things to each other, and there were no adults there to protect them. So I I'm not madly in love with the telephone at all.
Mm.
I think it's not good at a certain age. I think
Final question. Jenny Benny. Carm, what is your favorite meal to prepare?
I like meals. Today, I like meals that my family likes, and I go according to that. When I was younger, I would have cravings for foods from the quote old country, like stuffed cabbage, stuffed pepper, bean and rice, uh, Hungarian goulash, squash with
It was one meal, Carm, not 50. From Ned Smith, one of the founding patrons of STS Nation, with her bun. Carm, do you have any pets?
yeah, his name is Joel. No, I don't have pets. I used to have them, and very frankly, I don't want any pets. And Joel threatens me that he'll get me pets.
What do you
I
think of
find
Fred and
that
Ethel? Who do you like more, Fred or Ethel?
I think I think that Joel's dogs are very funny. What did the vet say?
She said you have the two most ridiculous dogs I've ever seen. Shout
And
out to Dr.
and
Newman.
and I let him enjoy it, but it also is an aggravation. He
Ethel
likes to
came in.
enjoy his dogs and leave the aggravation to his wife.
Um, Ethel came in today with a pitch black tongue from digging in the dirt. Blackwood War, we are blessed to be here with Joel, Carm, CEO, and each other. We'll never have this time again. That is a beautiful sentiment, a great way to end the show. There was one other great comment that I really liked, too. Where did it go? Silver Fox, here we go. Rosie, Silver Fox, I did hear about the attack in Manchester. It's horrible. We talked about that at the beginning of the show a little bit. Rosie says, Carm, I tell my son, my grandkids, my friends, everybody, It's one day at a time, one thing at a time. Life is too short. Enjoy it. You never know what can happen.
Who was this? Who was this?
Oh boy, Toxic Brew knows Carm. She knows when it's time to wrap. It goes on and on. Carm, tell us about your dad. You don't speak much of him. This could be a 9-hour answer here.
Well, next time I'll bring you a picture of my mother and father. And they were the picture, and then I'll tell you about my father.
What's your first memory? When you think of your father, what's the first thing you think of? What's your first?
When I think of my father, it's very complicated because I am angry when I think of my father, and I will tell you why. Tune in.
Oh, that's a good tease. Well, she'll fill you in next week. That's a great way to end it, Carm. I'm proud of you. Carm has had a father killed in Auschwitz, and then a new father, a stepfather. Both of their names were Ladislav. The nickname is Latzi. Carm always spelled it Latzi, so I named my daughter after her two fathers, Zizi, Zizi. That's my middle daughter, Zizi. And then Carm couldn't handle it, so she started laughing hysterically when I told her and told me that it's actually spelled Latci, even though she always spelled it Latzi, just to irritate me. And Zizi has the most special name in the family, without a doubt, named after her two great grandfathers, Latzi and Latzi. There you go. And Carm will tell you, look at this. I was angry at my father too, Carm. And Carm will tell you why next week. Let us know if you want us to continue this show. You have an open line, survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com. Carm, any final thoughts heading into the weekend? We're going to see Steve Martin and Martin Short, who both have the name Martin in their name. Do you think they make a joke about that within the first 3 seconds?
Yes.
Okay. Your final
maybe
thought.
not first 3, but first 10. But in any case, I enjoy my time here. I really enjoy being with you guys. And I take after Joel, and I like to be on camera, I guess. And thank you for giving me the opportunity, and all the best to everybody.
Love you, America. Love you, everybody. Love you, the Republic of Ireland, every country, the Kingdom of Lesotho, Australia, New Zealand, Iceland, Greenland, Finland, Holland.
All right, very good.
Thailand. Are there any other? I can't think of any. All right. Love you all. We'll see you. Email me, Surviving the Survivor. Let me know if you want Carm on next week, or if you want just her on, or a combination thereof. Lauren and Mackenzie,
I love you.
Around for justice for Dan Markel. Everybody have a great